multiple places. Boom, I'm live everywhere now. What is going on, y'all? Happy Wednesday. Yes, happy Wednesday. What's up, Lauren? What is up? What's up, Courtney? What's up, Unique Financial Alliance? What's going on, all of y'all? Happy Wednesday. Now, I usually do my hashtag TBTT, Tax Boss Talk Thursdays, but tomorrow is Thanksgiving and I will not be coming live at Thanksgiving. I'm definitely going to be with family and loved ones. So I didn't want to leave y'all hanging this week either. So I'm doing it tonight on a Wednesday. So it's Tax Boss Talk Wednesday. Okay. For all of you all who do not know me, I am Tatiani Favors. I am a tax business coach, which is just a fancy way of saying I'm a business coach for tax professionals. What I do is I help entrepreneurs start, build, and scale profitable tax businesses. And I've been in the tax industry for 17 entire years. This upcoming tax season will be my 18th tax season. Yeah, I know, right? So let me say hey to my IG family. I'm live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. So I am live in a few places. So what's going on, everyone? If y'all see me looking everywhere, it's because I'm, killing a few birds with this here one stone. Okay. So as let me just go ahead and say this before we get into the topic today. We'll definitely be talking about the top 3 things that you should be doing as a tax business owner before you hire a tax preparer. Okay, so before you even get to hiring a tax preparer, there are 3 things that you need to be considering doing. Okay, of course there's more than 3 things, but I'm not going to be up here for 5 hours teaching y'all. That's what my master classes are for. So so yes, we're going to be talking about my 3 things that you should do before you hire any tax preparers, because I know a lot of you tax business owners are in the process of hiring tax preparers. You may not know exactly how to do that, and I'll be giving you the game on how to do that tonight. Definitely want to let you all know my tax biz Black Friday bundle is available now. Those of you all who are on IG, you can DM me bundle, or you can just click my bio link. For those of you all who are on YouTube, I posted the link, and then for LinkedIn and Facebook, I'll post the link after the live. But you can always go to Instagram. I'm at Tatiani Favors on all platforms. Click the link in my bio or DM me the word bundle, and you can go ahead and get that link to get my tax biz bundle. If you are trying to be ready for the upcoming tax season, then you would definitely want to hop on this. Payment plans are available. What's in the bundle? It's a few things that's in a bundle, so forgive me if I miss anything, but click that link and it'll have everything that is included in the bundle. So what's included in the Tax Biz Black Friday bundle? Number one thing, it is a 30-day my 30-day Tax Biz accelerated course. Okay, it takes you all the way from the very beginning to the end of what you need to do to start, build, and scale your business in a short period of time, in 30 days, of course. That is an e-course. It has the 5-day Tax Biz starter course with workbook. It includes the Mind Your Tax Business ebook, which is also a workbook it has spaces for you to actually implement what I'm teaching. Okay, so that ebook is everything. Also, there are a few master classes up there. I have a master class on the Schedule C. So I have a Schedule C training. I have the DM marketing method. So if you want to market in your DMs, then there is a finesse and there is a way to do that. And also, what is it? How to start a 6-figure tax business masterclass is in there as well, and also some cheat sheets and some checklists. Y'all definitely check out the bundle. It is everything that you would need and more to get ready for this upcoming tax season. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Okay, it is the 3 things that you need to do before you hire a tax preparer. So and Tax Boss Academy. If you don't know what Tax Boss Academy is, it is my baby. I absolutely love it. It's my membership full of tax professionals, all in they are new, all the way from new people to people who are in the game as long as I have been. Actually preparing for the upcoming tax season, filling in the gaps of their tax businesses to prepare for the upcoming tax season. Tax Boss Academy is split into 3 phases: the start, the build, and the scale phase, of course. And my members in the scale phase, they are actively working on building their team. And I talk extensively on building a team. Some of them are in the interview process now, and they email me their interview questions, and we really talk about how to get and onboard tax preparers for their business. I also very extensively talk about not only what you need to do before you get a tax preparer or hire a tax preparer, but how to onboard them, how to do like the entire process, because there is an entire process. So just because I'm talking about the 3 things you need to do before you hire a tax preparer, doesn't mean that these are the only things that happen. Also, I would like to say that in addition to just hiring a tax preparer, when you are running your business as a tax business owner, of course, you have other positions that you hire for in addition to tax preparers. I am aware of that, but I just want to say we're going to be focusing on tax preparers only tonight, because that's mainly what people are looking for around this time, are tax preparers. If you know you need help, then people are looking for tax preparers. So that's what we are going to be focusing on today. So let's go ahead and get started with the 3 things that you need to do before you hire a tax preparer as a tax business owner. So the first thing, and before we even get into it, because y'all know I love a good build up, but before we even get into it, I want to say that a lot of my clients and a lot of people on social media that I see, it's you want to hire someone, but you don't really know what you're doing. You don't really know how to properly hire someone, and you're not as prepared as you should be before you bring people on your team. How do I know? Because I have prematurely brought people on my team before. And I'm not going to say I wasted money, but it was definitely an expensive lesson because I didn't quite know what I was doing. I didn't have clarity and all of that. And so I want to just give you all this little bit of game so to help you on your way and on your journey of finding help for your tax business, so it can be everything that you want it to be during this upcoming tax season. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I want y'all to do before you hire a tax preparer is I want you to identify the type of tax preparer you want to hire. And a lot of tax business owners, you all do not think about the type of tax preparer you want to hire. What I mean by type, meaning what experience level or skill. Sorry, let's see here. Okay, my fault, IG people. I had an alarm go off. Anyway, when I say the type of tax professional, what skill level is acceptable? What skill level are you looking for to hire for your tax business? Saying you're looking for it, doing a post saying I'm looking for a tax preparer is not good enough nowadays. Like, what type of tax preparer are you looking for? So let me expound on what I mean by what type. Do you want a tax professional who you have to train? Is it okay if they don't have experience or minimal experience to where you have to train them? Okay. Or do you want them to already have experience? Okay. If you want them to already have experience, how much experience do you want them to have? Do you want them to have your knowledge? Do you want them to have great, more knowledge than you, to know how to prepare more robust types of tax returns than you do? Okay. What type of experience level do you want them to be at? Woo. Goodness gracious, I've been sneezing and everything all day. Excuse me, y'all. Another sneeze is coming. Ooh, sheesh. I'm gonna take some Dayquil. I hope I'm not coming down with something. I'm sorry, I'm sneezing all up here. My apologies. But what type of experience do you want this tax preparer to have? Okay. Do you want them to, so like I said, do you want them to be brand new? Are you willing to train these people? Are you willing to train this person? I felt it coming on again. Or do you want them to already have experience? Of course, I would be doing this. Or do you want them to already have experience? Do you want them to know how to prepare business tax returns, and not just Schedule C tax returns, but like 1120 C Corps, 1120 S Corps, 1065 partnerships? Like, do you want them to know how to prepare more robust tax returns and business tax returns? So just looking for a tax preparer doesn't really say anything. It's not specific enough to what you are looking for. So you want to make sure that you identify the type of tax preparer that you want. Also, once you identify the type of tax preparer that you want on your team, then I would say identify what that position actually looks like. Okay. You have and create the job description for that position. When you, even if you're a full-time entrepreneur, everyone in here has had a job at some point in time in life. And before you apply for this job, it had a job description. So you were clear on what your task would be if you were to accept this job. Now, we're not talking about you got on a job and the boss tried to get you to do all types of other stuff that wasn't part of your job description. We're not talking about that. However, if you had a corporate job or it's just any job, there is a job description that's associated with that. Why don't you have job descriptions for your company, for all of your positions, for tax preparers, for admin, for marketing, for all the positions that you have identified that you need in your business to move the needle? Create job descriptions for all of these positions. So once you have identified the type of tax preparer you need, identify what that job description is. What does a day in a life look like for this tax preparer that you're wanting to hire? What will be their thing when every time they come to work, every time they log in, even if they're a contractor? What do you need them to do? You have to be clear on anyone you hire, not just a tax professional. I mean, not just a tax preparer, but anyone you hire. You have to be very clear. You have to be so clear. Hey, Kimberly, on the type of job that you want. Okay. The type of person that you're hiring for, you have to have clarity on what their job description is. You have to have clarity on how they'll be moving the needle in your tax business so you can properly and effectively rather communicate that to that person. Okay. As a leader and as someone who has made this expensive mistake, okay, I've hired what I called a regional partner manager. Okay. A regional manager. Like the title was real fancy, but it was a manager because I wanted someone to help me. I needed a manager for my company because I wanted to exit out of the, hands-on, and I wanted to kind of elevate my business. So I'm like, I need a manager. So I hired a manager. They were getting paid real well. But the issue was I didn't have clarity on the trajectory of my business. I didn't have clarity on even what I wanted them to do. Okay. This was years ago. This was at least like 6 years ago. Right. And so I thought that, this person would be able to read my mind. Who knew that people can't read minds? Like, who knew that? You know what I'm saying? Right. So I thought this person could read my mind and I thought this person would be savvy enough to look at my business and see what was missing and fill in those gaps. In my dreams, that's what I wanted. But in reality, that's not how things work. I did not have a job description for this position. I did not have, a day in the life of this position. When this person comes in, when they log in, they need to check this, have a list of things they need to check. They need to respond to this. Here are their duties. Here are their daily duties, their weekly duties. Like all of that is important. Even if we're talking about tax preparers, you still need a job description. Okay, yes, we know that they are preparing tax returns, but also let me take it a step further for you all, because I consider, and I typically work with larger tax firms, right? So if you're a one person show, you may not resonate with how I'm about to break down the tax preparer, but I'm going to break it down for you even further so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So typically, I've identified three. Hey, how you doing? I've identified three types of tax preparers. Okay. So one I like to call a data entry specialist. Okay. It sounds real fancy, right? I like to make people feel special. Anyway, so a data entry specialist, and what a data entry specialist does is they literally just take the W-2, okay, and enter it in to the software. They take the tax document and enter it into the software. They're not actually preparing the return. They might be new to tax preparation. They might not be done with their training yet. Their job is to literally to copy the tax documents into the software. Okay. Once you have the data entry specialist, then they can elevate that. They can hand that over to the actual preparer. The preparer will go ahead, look over what the data entry specialist has input into the computer, and go ahead and actually prepare the return. And we just talked about, the types of preparer as far as their experience level. So when you're looking for a tax preparer, what experience level do you want them to be on? Do you want them to have a robust knowledge of tax preparation? Do you want them to be preparing business returns like 1120, 1120S's, 1065 partnerships? Or is, just basic W-2, not too crazy type of tax returns will do? But anywho, you have the tax preparer. They'll actually prepare the tax return. And then once they complete preparing the tax return, they can escalate it to what I like to call the processor. Now, the processor in the beginning is typically you, which is the tax business owner. And then eventually you could probably hire someone who you actually trust. But the processor is the person who actually reviews the tax return with the client, because if you work with me, if I'm automating your tax business, or I'm doing a non-financial audit of your tax business, or you're working with me in any capacity, I always encourage a review process of the tax return. Why? Because why not? Okay. Like, we have one shot at this. We don't want to mess up our ratio of filing tax returns and rejections. Okay. And we want happy clients. We don't want the client to be like, oh, my tax return was rejected and it's just a whole big mess. So just have the review process. So the processor reviews the tax return with the client, but then they also collect the money. So they'll send the invoice to the client. They collect the money. They typically get the signatures, and they actually e-file the tax return to the IRS, right? Now, when you are a small business, you are all three of those. You're entering in the tax documents, you're preparing it, and you're processing it. But when you start growing, there very well can be two, if not all three of those positions. And so to just put on social media, hey, hiring for a tax preparer, well, what kind of tax preparer are you talking? Like, the point of this is for you all to start thinking like business owners. Okay. I don't like to deal with, we're not building tax hobbies or tax side hustles. Like, if you want to build a tax business, heavy on the business, okay? Something that's legacy leaving, something that's long lasting, then I'm the person for you. Okay. And how you build a business, you can't do so in a short period of time. It takes time to build a business. And in order to really build your business, you have to get in a position to where you're working on your business and not in your business. AKA, you want to be in a position to function as the actual founder and CEO of your business versus being an employee of your business. If you're knee deep in tax returns for the entire tax season, then it is very difficult to try to grow your business and function as the founder and have the creative juices to flow to figure out how to grow your business while you're knee deep in tax returns. Trust me, I know. I tried to do it for 2 years straight and it didn't work, because I was too immersed into the business. I was doing the skill. And when you're doing the skill, you're tired. You don't even have the mental capacity to come up with the creative juices that you need to even think about how you're going to grow your business, how you're going to network, how you're going to get more clients, how you're going to make more money, how you're going to separate yourself from, like, all of those things take thought, that you have to sit down as the owner of your business and think like, how am I going to make more money? How am I going to get more clients? So how am I going to, in this industry that a lot of people say is overly saturated? Well, I don't think anything can be overly saturated. That's like a double entendre, huh? So I guess it's just saturated. Like, how are you going to make your way? How are you going to create your blue ocean? And it's very difficult to come up with these things as you are working in your business. Okay. So that's the first thing. For those of you all who are coming in, we are talking about the 3 things that you need to do before you hire tax preparers. The first thing I just mentioned, you need to identify the type of tax preparer you want to hire, and especially what's the experience level. Okay, do you mind training this person, or do you want someone who's more trained and experienced? Okay, the second thing that I want you all to do before you start hiring tax preparers, before you even start looking, actually, like, I should have named this, before you start looking and vetting tax preparers, do these things. So number 2 is, what is your vetting process? Okay, what is your vetting process? Meaning, hey Jamie, what is your vetting process? Meaning, once you start to recruit tax preparers and you find someone, and now you find yourself in the interview process, right? What's your vetting process? How will you vet this person to confirm and qualify that they can actually work for your tax business and be a beneficial factor in your tax business? What does your vetting process look like? And so I'm not going to say there are right or wrong vetting processes, but I will tell y'all what my favorite vetting process is. And so I used to look at resumes, but resumes don't move me. When I was in college, I used to get paid to doctor up resumes. So resumes aren't anything but words on a piece of paper. They don't mean anything to me, right? But resumes might be your thing. That might be how you want to vet people. Okay, cool. My favorite way to vet people, I have two ways that I really love to vet people. One, I will give them a mock return. If you're not familiar with mock returns, they're basically like practice returns. And I typically have, each year, I'll do an updated one that's basic, one that's moderate, and one that's a pretty robust tax return, just to gauge their experience and their knowledge. And of course, I've already prepared this return, so I already know, what the total income is, what the AGI is, if they're getting a liability or a refund or whatnot. But for those of you all who aren't sure what a mock return is, like I said, it's a practice tax return, but basically what it is it'll say John and Mary are married. They have 2 dependents, and they'll give the fake socials. John is an engineer. He has a job. He makes $120K a year, and they'll get, so it's like a mock situation of taxpayers. Some of them are single, some of them are married, some of them itemize their deductions, so forth and so on. It's a practice tax return. And I want them to do it in the system that I use, my software system, just to gauge where their experience is. And from how they answered it, even if it's wrong, even if it's not all the way wrong, I can tell by how they have completed the tax return where they might need additional help. And I can gauge and see, okay, I can work with this person. They need help on itemized deductions. You could just kind of gauge and see, okay, they messed up on here, but everything else is correct. Or maybe they need help with the software, whatever. But I love giving someone a mock tax return. Like, let's forget what this resume say. That's cute. What can you do? Okay. And also what I've done in the past too is I've had trial periods. I sure have. I have had trial periods. I've had trial periods, unpaid trial periods they've lasted for a few, all the way from like a few weeks to maybe even 30 days. I actually do that with not even only tax preparers, but other positions in my company too, like my copywriter, my VAs. Like, I go through a trial period and I ask them up front, like, are you willing to do a trial period? Because I want to make sure you're the person for the job. I have been burned too many times. And if they're not, cool, respectfully, no. You get what I'm saying? Like, I need you to do a project for me and I need to see how you work before I'm going to make this commitment. So that's how I flow. Those are my top 2 vetting processes. But what I want you to do is identify, what would you need to do? What would this person need to show you for you to feel comfy on the inside, that this person will move the needle in your tax business, that this person can actually fulfill the job description that you've already identified. Okay, that you've already identified in your company to help you reach your goals. Okay, what will make you warm and fuzzy on the inside as a business owner for that person to do? Make sure you identify that vetting process, because that's going to come up in the interview. Okay, so when you interview people, and this isn't one of the 3 things, but let me just go ahead and say this, because I just had a meeting with one of the Tax Boss Academy members about this, because she's actually going to start interviewing on Monday. And so we were preparing her questions and all of that for the interview. And she asked some questions, and I'll share with you all because I feel like it's some good information. But she was interested in knowing how the interview process goes. So she was thinking she was just going to meet with these people in person, like for the first round of interviews. And I was like, no, y'all know this emoji all day. No. Okay. No, because some people, like, I want to qualify a person. I'm almost damn near trying to scare a person away when I interview you. So the first form of interview is over the phone. It's over the phone, or even a Zoom, a FaceTime, a Zoom is fine, or over the phone with no face, that's fine. Okay, for the very first interaction of interview. Okay, the first introduction. If they get past that first introduction, then you will want to meet them in person. You definitely want to meet them in person to see what kids call it the vibes. What are the vibes? You know what I'm saying? But energy is real. You want to feel people out. Okay. If they are a virtual worker, they live in a different state or whatnot, then a Zoom would be fine, because I have people on my team that I've been working with for 2 or 3 years. And I've never met her a day in my life. She's in Seattle, Washington. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've seen her face. We're on Zoom all the time, and you can figure out a lot from a person even through this interaction. I'm live on a few platforms. I'm sure y'all can feel my energy, and y'all are able to see my eyes and see my body movements and all of that. Before you hire anyone, I definitely suggest that you at least Zoom them, or FaceTime them, or whatever, some type of video conference, so you can see them. Okay. But for the very first, is not an in-person meeting. Why? Because they might not even make it there. And that takes up so much of your energy. Okay. If she, like the girl who I was talking to, and side note, I had to stalk her. If you are in Tax Boss Academy, or if you're one of my students, or I'm coaching you, like I am the person who you low key want to block, but you done paid me too much money, so you're not gonna block me because you want the results. But I stalk my people. I'm like, yeah, so what's going on with, like, I just straight be calling people up, like, yeah, I don't see no post, stalking a page, like, yeah, we talked about this, where's your post? And I had to like force her to tell the people that she was hiring. So she finally put the post up and got like 10 applications within like a few hours. So she had a whole lot of interviews, and she was about to rent out a space to have people come in person. No, we're not doing none of that, because some of these people might not even work out. So we're going to talk to them on the phone first, because they might not even make it to step 2. Another thing is that she did, or that she was thinking about doing, that I definitely told her not to do, that a lot of tax professionals do, is she was like, well, I don't want to scare them off with it. No, scare them off. Tell them exactly what, this is not the time to be, this is not a potential client. This is a potential worker. Okay, this is a potential person who you will be working with, and someone who will be working for your company. Scare them off. And then the ones who are still there, then give them another opportunity. But you're talking about paying someone a portion of your profits, even though that's the name of the game. That's a serious thing. If people start thinking about hiring people as somebody who I am giving some of my profits to, then I think that we would take it more seriously, instead of what social media told me: in order for me to be a boss, I gotta hire people. Look, don't look, social media, y'all listen to social media, y'all gonna be broke in no time. Cause let me tell you, I ain't gonna lie. All right, so this is a safe space. Is this a circle of trust? All right. So I fell for that. I definitely fell victim for that. Like, I'm supposed to be a boss. I own my own business. I'm gonna hire someone. And I did that. And I wasn't a good leader. I didn't have clarity how I should have. I didn't do any of this. That's how I know to tell y'all, this is what you do before you even start looking for someone. Okay? Because we're small businesses. We don't have the funds to be wasting on like every hire that we do is a big deal, because we're small businesses. We're still in the building phase. Okay. You're still trying to get to where you're going. Okay. You don't need to be paying someone who's not moving the needle in your business. You don't need to be paying someone who's not doing their job or fulfilling the job that you need for them to fulfill. So the qualification process, you have to be very stern with it. Okay, very stern. And then if they pass the first level of, the first interview, then they can go on to the second interview, and then you can start vetting them. Also, I will say, it just left me because it's not on my list. I'm on a tangent right now, but this is important too. I think it had to do with the interview process. I think it had to do with the interview process. But that's what I get for going on a tangent. If I remember, yes. Questions. So another thing is, she sent me her questions that she was going to ask these people. And these questions were so generic. And I told her, do you want my honest opinion? And of course she did. And she knows how I am as a coach. Because I'm like, I care about y'all. I love y'all. But I am the coach. I am the business coach that I wish I had when I started my tax business. Someone to really tell me, like, hey, that might not be it right there. You get what I'm saying? Let's talk this through. Like someone like that. And so her questions were very Googleable. Like, the questions that you've probably been asked on the 1,000,003 job interviews that you've been on. And so the questions were very generic. And I asked her, I said, if they answer this question, what would that tell you about them that will qualify them to work for your company? So when you're coming up with these questions that you're going to ask these people, don't just be asking people like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? No. I know I can tell you what your strengths and weaknesses is. Do this here mock return. You get what I'm saying? So like those type questions, like we're wasting time. Like let's not waste time. Let's not waste time. Let's get there. Okay. What do you really need to know as a business owner about someone who you are potentially going to be giving a portion of your profits to? Okay. What do you need to know about this person in order for you to hire them? What questions will actually matter and pertains specifically to your tax business to make you comfortable with this hire? What are those questions? I don't want no real vanilla questions, what was your last position? Who cares? Who cares? But look, this is what this position is. This is what it entails. Here's the environment here. Here's the climate. Here's the standards. This is what's going to be expected. Do you think you can handle this? If not, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's get there. And of course, in a nice way. I'm not that, I'm not that harsh. But I'm very direct now because A, I don't have the time. Okay. And B, I have kissed many frogs on my entrepreneurial journey as far as trying to find people to work for my company and all of that. And no. Okay. So let's get there. Okay. Let's get there. That was a long tangent, but I felt like it was a good one. Okay. So for those of y'all coming in, hey, everyone coming in, we're talking about the 3 things that you should do before you hire tax preparers. Okay. So I already went through. 1 was identify the type of tax preparer. I'm not going to go through it all. Definitely catch the replay back up at the top. But the first one is to identify the type of tax preparer and the experience level. Are you willing to train this person? Or do you want someone coming in already swinging, already who knows how to prepare robust tax returns, maybe even including business tax returns and even nonprofits? Like, what is this experience level you want them? 2, identify the vetting process. Identify your vetting process for this person. How are you going to vet this person to ensure that they are who they say they are? Okay. And I, I don't favor, and that's not because my last name is Favors, but I don't favor resumes because anyone can put something on a resume, so, but it's all up to you. The third one is to identify your budget. Identify your budget. How much will you pay, or how much are you willing to pay this person once you hire them? So let's rewind for a second. And for the people who coming in, hey, because I'm live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm on StreamYard here. And so for those of you all who are here, I can't tell if you are from LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, but hey, how you doing? Anyway, we're talking about the 3 things that tax business owners need to do before you hire a tax preparer for your company. And the third one is to identify your budget. How much are you willing to pay this person? Okay. And so let's rewind, because this kind of, and this isn't on this list. Like I said in the beginning, there are a few things that you need to hit on when it comes to building a team. Okay. And within Tax Boss Academy Scale Phase, which is definitely now open if you're interested in Tax Boss Academy Scale Phase, which includes how to build your team, how to create your systems and SOPs, and how to automate your tax business. Definitely DM me if you're interested in the scale phase. There is an application process because, Tax Boss Academy is an entire vibe. Just because you have the money does not mean that you will be welcome in. And so I like to talk to people personally who join Tax Boss Academy. But anywho, in the scale phase, we talk extensively on how to properly build a team. And within there, we talk about when you build a team, before you even start recruiting people. Okay. Before you even start recruiting people, you need to identify the positions that you want to fill within your business. So of course, if you have a tax business, and we're talking about tax businesses, of course you want tax preparers. Okay, so of course we know tax preparer, but you also might want an assistant, an admin, a marketing person, however you want to, is different from each person. But one thing's for sure, a tax preparer is needed for sure for a tax business, right? So once you have identified the positions that you need in your business to move the needle in your business, then you create job descriptions for each of these positions. Okay. And I talked about this a little bit earlier. You want to create job descriptions for each of these, for each of the positions. Okay. What does a day in the life look like for this person? Okay, so they come in, they're responsible for what daily tasks, for what weekly tasks. What will you have them to do, and how is their task contributing to your business? How is it getting you to your goal? And of course, you have to know what your goal is. You have to know what the trajectory of your tax business is. You have to know where you're going, so you can properly lead these people. Okay. But saying you have all of that, what are the job descriptions? After you create the job descriptions, you need to go ahead and create the budget ranges for each of the job descriptions. So tax preparer, for a data entry specialist may be one range, but for someone who's preparing nonprofits, that might be another range. Your budget definitely depends on your business, where you're at in your business, and what you can afford. And you want to do a range so you can have some negotiation leverage. Okay. Because of course, if you say, okay, yeah, I'll pay you, if you're willing to pay someone, and I'll just use low numbers, or, I'll just use numbers. There are, well, let me just start here. There are like two main ways you can pay a tax preparer. A flat fee or a percentage. So a percentage of the tax prep fee, or a flat fee. So if they are preparing a tax return, you're either paying them, like, say, $50 a tax return, or you're paying them 20% a tax return. So it's percentage or flat fee. Neither one of them is better than the other. It just is a personal preference, but it's also very much based on your overall expenses. So you have to look at your business overall, like, okay, what's my overhead? Okay, what's my overhead? What are my projections? What can I afford? What am I charging per tax return? Okay, because that matters. If you're charging $50 for a tax return, then don't. Okay, respectfully, don't raise your prices. I wouldn't raise your prices, but you have to look at all of that. You have to take all of that into consideration when you are identifying how much you're willing to pay your tax preparers. Now, of course, you want to pay your tax preparers from the money that you generate. So you have to make sure that you understand how much you're charging for your tax returns before you even hire someone, so you'll know what your range is. Because if you hire someone without understanding how much you're charging for these services, then you might not charge enough to cover this person's pay. If you told somebody that, okay, yeah, I'll pay you $75 per tax return, but you're only charging $100 per tax return, then this person is getting 75 while you're getting 25. But meanwhile, they're using your eFin, your software, your ink in your printer, your paper, and you still have all of this overhead. This is if you have a brick and mortar, of course. So you see what I'm saying? Take Mr. Eugene, DM me bundle. So DM me bundle. Go to my DMs and send me a message and hit and do bundle, or click the link in my bio to check out my bundle. But I see you wrote it in the comments. You want it. But anyway, You definitely want to consider that so you will know what you're working with. You don't want to promise a tax preparer a certain level of pay and not be able to pay them. That's the worst thing, not be able to pay them. I have put myself in a position to where I did things backwards and prematurely hired and promised someone a certain percentage and realized that that percentage was way too high because my prices were not up to par. And I'm a woman of my word, so I paid that to them, but I struggled because I had to just get the scrap. So I was coming out of my personal pocket to pay overhead expenses and stuff instead of having the business pay for it. I was coming out of my personal pocket doing that stuff, and that's what you don't want to do. Okay, that's why I come up here live for 45 minutes plus to give y'all the game, to let y'all know these things, because a lot of people just don't consider this. I function as a business. Okay, I function as a business, and when you function as a business, it's just certain things that you are going to have to consider. Okay, no one wants I'm not going to say no one, because a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't understand the difference between a social media based business or online based business and a real business. Okay, and a corporation. Let's function as corporations, guys. Let's not have let's not have online businesses. Let's have corporations and market online. It's a difference. It is a difference. We have to function as such. We have to start building these teams one person at a time. We have to start creating these systems and standard operating procedures to get that internal organization. We have to start automating our tax businesses and really functioning as these corporations do. That's the only way we're going to grow. Okay, guys? So let me do a quick recap. If you are just coming in, or if you're watching a replay, comment #replay in the comments for sure. But we talked about the 3 things you should do before you hire a tax preparer. Number 1, identify the type of tax preparer you want to hire and the experience level. Number 2, you want to identify your vetting process. And if y'all have any questions, definitely feel free to ask them in the chat or in the question bubble. Number 2, you want to identify your vetting process. So how are you going to vet these people before you go ahead and hire? How are you going to qualify them? Okay. And then number 3, you want to identify your budget, how much you are willing to pay, a range, how much you're willing to pay for this position. And are you going to pay a percentage or a flat fee? And if so, what is that percentage? And identify what is that flat fee. Okay. But before you do that, you have to understand what you're charging. Okay. How you're pricing your services, what you're charging for tax preparation services. Okay. And I'll leave y'all with this. Make sure that you have a minimum amount. So if someone comes to you with one W-2 and that's it, what is the minimum amount this person is paying you for tax preparation, right? I say it shouldn't be no more than $250. A lot of people lose their shit when I say that, so I'll go down to $200. But you really shouldn't be charging anything less than $200 for sure. For a tax preparation service. I don't care if it's just one W-2. So identify what your minimum is. Okay. My company minimum is $250. You can come in here with a half a W-2 and a quarter of a child, and you're paying $250 and a quarter of a child. I'm tripping. But anyway, it's late. That's how you know I'm late, and I'm ready to drink some eggnog. But anyway, but yes, like that is the minimum for my company. So identify the minimum amount someone is going to be spending with your company, and then work your way from there. Okay. I know I have a live on pricing your services, but I'll probably do another live next week on pricing your services. Maybe I'll do one before the year is up. But I know I've done one before. But those are the 3 things for sure. If y'all have any questions for me, and I'll wait a few seconds because I know it's on delay, and I want to make sure that if you're typing your questions, that you have time to type them. Again, my Black Friday bundle available now. If you're on Instagram, you can DM me the word bundle or simply click the link in my bio. For LinkedIn and Facebook, I'll put the link after this live is over. It won't let me do it now. YouTube, the link is already there. It is $97, and I actually have payment plans available for that if you need it. Y'all, let me tell y'all, I'll be transparent with you all. Next year, I've decided to focus strictly on Tax Boss Academy, which is my membership. It is set up like a school. I mean, that's why it's called an academy. And it's in 3 sections: the start phase, the build phase, the scale phase, right? And building a team, what we talked about today, hiring and all of that, that's part of the scale phase. However, I'm going to be focusing on Tax Boss Academy. So this bundle is like almost like a goodbye to getting these digital products a la carte. You won't be able to get these digital products a la carte from me anymore. And then some of these I'm actually retiring. But the others, you won't be able to get these digital products unless you're in Tax Boss Academy. I won't be offering these a la carte anymore, one-offs and things of that nature. I've decided to completely focus on Tax Boss Academy. So just to let y'all in on a little tease, so you definitely want to get this bundle. It is 87% off. Okay, 87%. I'm like basically giving it away. So yeah, don't let $97 stop you from getting the information that you need to get ready for this upcoming tax season. Okay, guys. Let me see. I don't think I have any questions. Let me roll up and through here. I don't. So I will not see y'all tomorrow. Today was like my Tax Boss Talk Thursday, but on Wednesday. I will not see y'all tomorrow. So I hope y'all have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. Whether you celebrate it or not, I hope you are surrounded by someone who loves you. And y'all be safe. Have a good time. I know I will. Check my stories because I'll probably be all up in my stories, okay? And don't judge me because I plan on being tipsy. Holla at me, okay? So I will see y'all later. Bye. LinkedIn, Facebook, and I was about to say Twitter and YouTube family. I'll see y'all later.